Hey, we're here with Lonny and Jason Childress. They're helping Fred Reap out with Bigfoot number 4 with the restoration project. Tell us a little bit about this and how it's going.
Well, it's going slow.
Okay.
It's nothing that we're making any money on. We're doing it out of passion. Fred's a good friend of ours, so we're helping him out. We've got a group of guys that are helping us. Gene Patterson, my cousin Dave Childress, friend Mike White, Travis Sutton's been helping. John Pyatt's come down a couple times and given us a hand. So it's all volunteer stuff. It's on the weekends. It took a long time to get all the body components recreated and done. We had to change the top of the cage to get back to this old body style because they had changed it for the 97 bodies, which laid the A-pillars way back and in. So that took some time to get all that stuff done. We're finally, I think, on the other side of the curve now. We've blasted the chassis and got it painted. The rear ends are all cleaned up and ready to paint, so that'll be our next step, and we'll get those back under the truck and actually start going back together with it. So it's been a long process, but I feel like we're finally over the hump.
So let's talk a little bit of history, because a lot of you guys, you've known these guys, or you've seen them around. You've seen them in the RC monster truck world, because they've got pretty big names in the RC monster truck world. But these guys are old monster truckers. They were back during the dark ages, like a lot of us in the 90s, when there's not a lot of video of it. Tell us a little bit of how you guys got your start with the early monster truck stuff.
So we, after all this time, we've only paid to go to one show in our lives.
You shouldn't brag about that.
We've been fortunate to have good friends in the industry that still get us into shows when we want to go. But the very first show we went to was in Columbia, Missouri. It was a Neil Darnell show, and Rob Fuchs with First Blood was there.
The only Ford at the event.
Well, there were a couple other Fords, but Crimson Crusher was there. Dale still owned it at the time. But my favorite color is red. We're obviously Ford guys, and so we picked Rob to root for because he had a red Ford. He ended up winning that night, but he broke one of the wheels off. And at that point, they would let us all come down, so we all went down and talked. And I don't know what came over me because we had no experience with anything, but noticed Rob didn't have anybody with him and asked, hey, can you need some help putting this thing back together? He's like, sure, man, come up. I'll get you in the show and get you some T-shirts and stuff. And so we did, and just kind of got to be friends with him. And I think it was in either 90 or 91, his second child was on the way, and he had a full-time job in the New York miniseries with SRO at the time, I believe it was, Pace or SRO or one of those. They were running their New York miniseries, so he called me and asked me if I thought that I could drive the truck. I was scared to death. I knew he wasn't going to be with me the whole time. He was, so he told me to hang out with Fred and Ray Perkowski, and that they would help me along. And so that's what we did. And when we came back from that deal, I told Jason, I'm like, we got to figure out a way to get into this. So we ended up hooking up with Warren Fornes. He had a truck called Missouri Wild Thing. Was formerly Warthog. His son drove it for about a year and then lost interest, and then Warren started trying to campaign it and really wasn't wholeheartedly into it, didn't have the hauler or anything like that. So we ended up
literally rent a U-Haul truck,
Yeah.
put the tires in the back of the U-Haul truck, put the monster truck on the trailer, and I don't think the truck ever made it past first round. It had a fuel issue from day one when we got involved with it, that you would nail the throttle and truck would just, but it was fuel injected. Okay. We're like, there's something going on here. And we just kept trying to mess with it, but Warren didn't want to work on it. He just wanted to have the truck, and he had it. Son didn't want to drive it no more. So we kind of talked to him and tried to figure out a way that we could get the truck from him and work the deal with him on that. And
So did you guys end up purchasing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually gave him a 68 Mustang Coupe that we'd restored
Okay.
as a down payment, and then we made payments as we went along.
Okay.
But when they originally built it, it was a gas truck, and then they switched to alcohol. Well, they
Okay.
didn't take the foam out of the tank.
Oh.
So it ended up, it was plugging the injectors. Yeah, we took all that stuff out, and our first show as owners was 92, Houston, Texas.
Okay.
And the first pass we made, we came over a big dirt mound and then 8 cars, and it cleared to 8 cars. It didn't have any intentions of running it that hard, but it
we had cleaned the
took
fuel
off.
system out. Like, because I don't remember if it was Van Loo or one of those guys was like, well, if you had foam in the tank, you got to take that crap out, and then you got to clean the whole line out from front to rear. Otherwise, it just keeps coming at you and keeps coming at you. And even though we cleaned that out and we did that, like every night, we'd take the injectors out and clean them because it still would come back to haunt us. But
he was sitting next to Chandler. That was the debut of Bigfoot 10.
Okay.
And he was sitting next to Chandler when I made that pass, and Chandler turned to him and like, I've never seen that truck run like that before.
That was pretty much really cool to be there by Bob, which, by the way, just so everyone knows, he did film that event.
It's online. It's online.
Well, we're having fun. Stay tuned. Next week, we're going to get into some more stuff with these guys, a little bit more history. Come back and see us next week.